Alrighty, I think I am good. Hi everybody, so welcome back. I just wrote this down because I just confirmed and decided the next round of yoga, and I'm super excited because it's going to be 6 weeks long, and I'm saying this now because I know at the end of class everybody's kind of in yoga mode, so just a heads up if you want to write this down. So starting May 11th, I'm going to be doing 2 times a week sessions. So Tuesdays at noon, it's going to be focused on meditation. The first 5 minutes, I'm going to be talking about current research studies that come out regarding the limbic brain. So we're going to focus on the primary emotions each week. And then it's going to be followed by a 15-minute meditation to help try to clear out any kind of emotional blockages, whether it's in the body or that's cognitive, more in the brain. And then on Thursdays, also at noon, it's going to be a 30-minute nervous system yoga session. That's going to be focusing more on the subtleties within the spine and ensuring that we have that proper brain-body connection. So just wanted to say that now. I hope everybody has their cup of coffee, and feel free to pause throughout the practice today. Have small little sips. Make sure you don't take big sips or else it's going to cause an upset stomach. So we're going to be starting seated on the mat. I'm not going to use any music today, but if you do choose anything to play in the background, you could have something a little bit more instrumental, something slower pace. And just because internet and the towers have been a little bit in and out, just a heads up, if anything happens where you lose connection, you could just refresh the screen or pause the live stream, let it load a little bit, and then just replay. Okay, so when you're ready, the way you're seated on your mat, I just want you to, right away, just switch the cross of the feet. Create a little bit of space between the heels and the growing, and then lift up the sit bones a little bit so you can really pull the muscle and the flesh back so you find your 2 sit bones. That's what you're sitting up on. Roll the shoulders back so they're aligned to the hips, and then soften your belly. From there, allowing the palms to face down on the knees if you're feeling good as you are. If you're feeling a little bit tired or lethargic, your palms can be facing up. If you choose Yan Mudra, index and thumb touch. Take a moment here to just close the eyes, taking a few nice, slow, deep, subtle breaths in and out of the nose. And just starting to observe whatever it is that your mind focuses on. It could be just the area underneath the tip of the nose, the rise and the fall of your chest, or the expansion of your belly. But wherever your attention goes, just stay there for a few more breaths. At the same time, you're softening your shoulders. The crown of the head is lengthening up toward the ceiling. And the belly is truthfully softening and relaxing. There's no tension, there's no engagement. Three more grounding breaths. If you feel tension in your body, you're breathing in through the nose, holding the peak of your inhalation as long as you can without bringing tension into your body, and then exhaling loudly out of the mouth. Keeping the eyes closed, just start to take the chin down toward the chest, interlace the fingers, and place the palms just at the back of the head. Adding a little bit of natural weight with the arms. Try to maintain your posture here so the shoulder scapula is down and back, your chest palate remains lifted, and you're breathing an ujjayi sound right at the back of the throat. Let's take about 2 more breaths here, really trying to lengthen the breath in and out of the nose. You could even try holding the peak of your inhalation or exhalation for a few extra counts before you release the breath. Or breathe back in. Gently open the eyes from here. Inhale the arms up to the ceiling. Take the eyes to look up. Slightly lean back. Sweep the arms to the side of your mat. Exhale. Take 3 shoulder rolls, forward and up in through the nose. Out of the mouth, back and down. Good, 1 more. Extending your left leg forward, pull the right knee into the chest, and then take the flat of the foot parallel to the ceiling. Do the best that you can if your flexibility is there to take the top of the foot just on top of your left quad. If it's not there, just allow the instep of the right foot to rest on the inner left thigh. Move the flesh and the muscle back. Flex the left foot. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinging from the hips, and try to maintain a flat back. You want to get that fascial plane just at the back side of the left leg. So maintain a nice tall posture. Let's take our chin slightly angled so your eyes are looking toward the ankle. And you're here for only 3 breaths. A nice, quick, but deep stretch. You want to get that opening right through the back of the hamstring. Final inhale. Good. Slowly bring your body up. Plant the palms behind you. Either keep that foot on top of the thigh or plant the right foot on the ground as you lift up through the hips. So you're either coming into more of an intermediate reverse plank, lifting up one leg, or you're planting and keeping that right foot grounded. Try to really shift the weight toward the top of the left foot. Try to keep your hips level. Fingertips can really face any direction that you feel comfortable. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower down, reaching the right foot forward. Take 3 pulses with the body. Good. Planting the palms behind your back. Bend both knees. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And really reach that corresponding knee down toward the floor so then that same side hip actually lifts off of the mat. Let's switch sides, so easy, right leg reaching forward, taking the left foot in, come into your position, your posture. Inhale, reaching those arms nice and high, and then exhale, coming through to your flat back, slight flex through the right foot, keep the shoulders down, and keep reaching that chest bone forward. Eyes are looking toward the ankle here, and you've got just a couple more breaths. The deeper we go below the hips, within the flexibility of the body, the slower and the really more focused you need to be around the breath, because that breath needs to travel quite a long way to ensure the stretch. So really prioritize the breath sound, the sensations that come up, the quality. Good. Slowly bring your body up, coming into that reverse plank. Same thing that you did from the other side, squeezing your glutes, lifting up through the hips. Your shoulders are right over the top of the palms. Try to square those hips again, holding here for 3, for 2, good, for 1. Drop down, reaching both legs forward, pulse 2 to 3 times. And last time, plant the palms behind you, windshield the knees, the same type of counter that we did previously on the other side. Crossing at the ankles, coming onto all 4s, and then finding some nice easy cat-cows. Palms are underneath the shoulders, fingers are spread out nice and wide. Roll the shoulders down and back on an inhale, and then rounding out through your spine on your exhale. Find a few more nice fluid, organic movements. You can hold one side of cat-cow a little bit longer if you need it. You can even bring yourself into a quick set down dog if that's what your body is truly craving. So just trust how it is that your body needs to release today. going to start with a forearm balance pose. So take those kneecaps together. You're going to slowly start to reach the right leg back, keeping an internal rotation at the hip, and then start to reach your right arm forward. Not your left, your right arm forward. Yes, so the entire right side of the body is up and off of the mat. Now you can either stay here with an internal rotation to the kneecap, or you're going to create a supported side high plank. So open up the right side of the body to stack on top of the left. Your body is now facing the right side of the room. If you want to play, feel free to explore, especially when you kind of replay some of these videos, if you enjoy the practice. And that playing could be perhaps bending at the right knee and grabbing a hold of the right foot. Whatever your position, make sure you are breathing slow and deep. Keep the activity through the 5 fingertips of the right palm, keeping that right foot flexed. You're here for 2 more breaths. Planting the right palm down, keeping the right leg lifted, taking an inhale. Knee to the nose, exhale. Inhale, kick the right leg back. 2 more times. Good. Inhale, right leg kicks back. Exhale, tabletop. Cat-cows, shoulders roll back. Inhale, rounding out through the spine. Exhale. Nice and slow to start off our practice. You can get into that downward dog again if you need it. And then on your next exhale, slowly neutralize the spine thereafter. Take those kneecaps together to touch and extending your left leg back. Start first by finding your balance as the left arm comes forward before you add on or before you go to the next exercise. So keeping that kneecap facing the mat, keep your shoulders square, keep the ribs in, tailbone tucked, core engaged. Taking 1 more breath here before you slowly start to open it up into that side high plank. Supported set just means, of course, that right knee stays on the mat and that right foot is acting as a kickstand. So you can stay here looking past the left fingertips if your neck allows you, or you could stay looking forward with the eyes. Feel free to play if you took any kind of expression sets before. And continue to breathe nice, slow, and deep right into the front palate of your chest. Okay, 3 more breaths. Smiling will help. Sometimes it actually does trick the brain if you feel like you're having a little bit rough of a day or your mood seems a little bit off. That facial feedback loop really helps to reset the mind. Keeping your left leg lifted, you're just going to drop the left palm to the ground. Reposition yourself, inhale, and then take that knee to the nose, exhale. Continue, inhale, kick back. Exhale, pull in. 2 more. Now really squeeze the air out of the body. Round it, round the spine. Good. Last one. Inhale, kick the left leg back. Tabletop, down dog direct. Tuck the toes, palms or shoulders width, and then walk your dog as soon as you get there. You can try bouncing the heels a little bit, pulsing the chest toward your thigh bones. Shake out the head, just really loosen up your body here. Try to really focus on maintaining presence. We don't want any kind of rumination of thoughts. We want to try to maintain here and now, compared to thinking too far forward or repeating anything that happened that really has no control. From here, perch up onto the fingertips, looking forward. You're going to step the right leg as far forward as you can, and then you're going to slowly walk your palms toward the side corner of your mat, just at the side. You're facing the left side of the room. Inhale, coming into a flat back, your toes slightly pigeon toward one another. And then exhale, diving forward. You can take those palms to the hips if you choose. Your palms can be either massaging the legs as well if you feel tension, or those palms can stay grounded on the ground. At any point in time where you feel a little bit nauseous or dizzy, inhale, lengthen out through the spine, and then just maintain a flat back as you continue to just slowly bend at the elbows, deepen your set, deepen the stretch, and just really maintain control over how it is that you're feeling today through this area of the body in particular. Taking about 2 more breaths here, soften your toes. There's no gripping through your toes or your feet. And if you're not there already, perch up onto the fingertips, flat back, inhale, palms to the hips, slowly stand it up. Good, tuck the tailbone, take the right toe out, setting up your warrior 2. Heel to back arch, angle out the left toes to the side, you're at a diagonal, and then roll the shoulders down. Taking a few pulses to get into the depth of the right knee, and then holding your deepest set. If the knee goes past the heel, of course, wiggle the toes out. You want to need a heel alignment. From here, squeezing your left glute tightly, lifting up through the heart palate. You're not going forward, you're not arching the back, you're maintaining a nice strong core. And just continue to breathe here. Good, maintain the depth to your legs. Reverse your warrior 5 breaths. Left arm behind the back, right arm up to the ceiling. Notice if you just came out of that right knee, come back, good, and hold it there. Continue to breathe mainly into that right lung, if you can visualize it. Soften through your toes, keeping the weight on the outsteps of your feet. Find more depth here for 1 more count. Back to warrior 2, stay with me, keep that right knee bent, an extended side angle. Hinge the upper body toward the front of your mat, and then taking the right elbow on the knee, well, the thigh, and then reaching the left arm overhead. Now, if this is enough, you could stay here. If you'd like more, take the left fingertips the same direction that the crown of the head is reaching, so the entire left side of the body is creating that nice, strong, diagonal line. So keep pressing through the outstep of the left foot. Keep reaching the left arm away from the trunk of the body. And then connect the 2 with your breath. Coming back into warrior 2. Good. Straighten out the right leg. Toes face that side wall. Inhale, lengthen up the spine. Hinging from the hips, coming into that swan dive, taking your palms wherever they feel comfortable. If you have vertigo, your head can remain more upright versus keeping your taking your head below the heart. And then try to play around with what happens when you shift the weight from the heels mainly to the pad of the feet. Go toward the angle or the distribution of weight that you feel a little bit more of that uncomfortable stretch, but a stretch that you can manage and maintain. Deepen your position wherever you are. You're here for 2 breaths. Remember, yoga is measured on the quality of breath, not the depth of the pose, not how many exercises you can do in a given time. That's not why it was designed. And if you're doing that, you're missing the point of what yoga is. Perch up onto the fingertips, flat back. Let's bring ourselves up. Heavy on the heels, palms to the hips. Gently bring yourself upright, and then let's switch sides. Taking the left toes to face out. Back heel, I guess I should say, to front arch alignment. Angle out the toes, and then slowly start to come into a couple of pulses here. Pulsing through the left knee, finding a reposition through the shoulder scapula so that your heart palate stays open and lifted, practicing that proper posture. And once you found your deepest pulse, just make sure the shin stays parallel to the wall. Now slight engagement in through the right glute, lengthen out in through the spine, And then just find your drishti point. Like mindfulness, meditation, you're doing the same thing in your practice. Whenever your mind wanders, you're just bringing yourself right on back to the moment. If the breath is a little bit too repetitive to focus on, maybe you're just simply paying attention to how your clothes feel on the skin today. The temperature of your surroundings, or the feeling of your mat on your feet. Continue to hold that gaze for about 2 more breaths. Taking the right arm behind you, reverse your warrior for 5 breaths. Maintain that left knee lunge. You could always use that right elbow to press it to the side of that glute on the right, or the upper area of the quad, to help anchor you in place. And then really focus on reaching, grounding through that left hip. Mulabandha is engaged. You're here for 2 more breaths. Maintain your warrior 2 depth as you slowly bring yourself back to reset. And then let's hinge the upper body toward that back wall, bending at that left elbow, and then reach the right arm either up to the ceiling or your full stretch, reaching the right arm overhead. Shift the weight onto the outstep of the right foot so you're keeping both of your inner arches light and lifted. And then from there, roll the right shoulder blade back, gauging the core, and then breathing right into the stretch, connecting arm and leg through your breath. You've got about 2 more counts. Good, bring yourself back into that warrior 2 stance. We're going to do something different this time. So you're going to windmill the palms toward your left leg. You're going to come into a downward dog. So you're now reversed the whole posture and your alignment on your mat. Shake out the head while you're in downward dog, taking a few pulses of the chest, really opening up through the area of the underarms. And then take the eyes to look past your inner thighs. Let's take 2 to 3 quality breaths while we're here. Hopefully the backs of the heels are a little bit closer toward the mat as the body has warmed up just a tad. And we're going to connect the work that we've done with a hips width forward fold. So take your feet toward the middle of your mat, hips width, and then allow the palms to come to meet your feet. Many variations that you could do this. You could literally just allow yourself to ragdoll over top of the legs. If you're feeling a little bit more aggressive or fiery today, interlace the fingers behind the back is a really good way to help manage some of the emotions that come up and to detox. And maybe even stepping on the palms of your, how can I put this? Taking your palms underneath your feet, so you're stepping on your palms. That's another variation as well for your forward fold. So wherever you are, we're really working with gravity here and time. So relax the nape of the neck, crown of the head becomes parallel to the mat. And whatever angle, posture, expression you're going for today, really find the edge of it. Really imagining every exhalation, you're letting go of a little bit more of that stress, of that pressure, if there's any pain in your body. And depending on the day, if the emotions get overwhelming, then please do allow things to come up. Your mat is the safest place in order to express that. That could be in the form of yelling, literally, or tears. There's no judgment here on your mat. Soften your toes. You've got about 5 more counts. almost there, your final breath. Then slowly plant the palms on the mat. Inhale, look to the back of your mat, and then slowly drop down onto the knees. Hold here momentarily, and then flip the palms while you're letting the body just reset and recalibrate. So the fingertips are facing the kneecaps. From here, with your discretion, you're just slowly going to lean the upper body back so the hips come a little bit closer toward the heels, getting into that flexibility of the forearms. This is really good for those of you that are behind a desk all day. So really giving the ability and the time and space for the muscle to really let go. Now this one's going to feel a little bit awkward. You're going to do the same thing, but very gently. Keep 80% of your weight on the legs because you're going to flip the palms. So the palms are actually facing the ceiling, and you're trying to get the front of the forearm to now face the back of your mat. So not a lot of pulsing here. You're just mainly maintaining stillness as you just breathe into the front of that wrist, taking one more awkward breath. And then gently as you release that, take those knees hips width, and you're just going to find a release set in camel pose. So palms at the lower back, shake out the head a little bit if you need it. Inhale, lifting up through the heart chest. Eyes can either stay looking to the ceiling, or you could drop the head back. Now force the inhalation right into the front of the chest here. Remember, the further you go back, the more you need to press the growing forward, so you're not compressing at the lower vertebrae of your spine. And you'll feel a slight Kegel engagement. Both men and women, that engagement point is critical and very important to ensure that the spine is in proper alignment. Taking 2 more breaths in this mini back bend. And then as you take the chin to the chest, slowly bring yourself upright. From tabletop, hover the kneecaps, step the feet into the middle of the mat. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale, and then slowly bring yourself up to a stand. Good, slowly bring yourself toward the side of the mat. Circle out the ankles and the wrists. If you feel like it, maybe grab a little sip of that coffee. We're gonna come into a nice easy balancing pose, so tree pose. Take all the weight to your left leg. Position yourself in your alignment so you're maintaining a nice tall posture. Right toe can stay on the mat if you need it, or you could slowly start to work your way up. Foot can come to the calf. Just try to bypass the knee. And then find something out in front of you that's not moving. Palms can be wherever they feel like they need to be today, in front of the heart, up to the ceiling, behind the back, or you could do something asymmetrical. You've got just a couple of breaths here. Good, slowly release, touch down the right foot, palms to your lower back, eyes to the ceiling, lean back, look up, 2 breaths. Really focus on the breath sound, the quality and depth. And as you slowly bring yourself back up, you're switching sides. Nothing crazy today. Take the right weight onto the right leg, and then find that same reflection pose that you did on the other side and just repeat it here. Find your focus point, soften through your toes. And there's a lot going on. You're not just focusing on alignment within your body, but you're also maintaining that inner witness, paying attention to that narrative, that recorder that's going off in your mind right now. What the story's about, the conversations. Just pay attention to it. You're here for 3. Good. Slowly start to release that left leg. Once again, same counter, palms to your lower back, eyes to the ceiling. Look up, lean back. We're going to just do one more balancing pose. but it's going to be more of a stretch. So your classic quadriceps, so take the weight back onto your left leg, and then bending at the right knee, reaching for the right foot, tuck the tailbone, engaging your core. Now you could either stay here if you choose, you could hold onto a wall if you need it, or start to hinge through the hips and just start to bring your upper body forward. So one day, maybe today, your shoulders come to the same height to the hips, your left palm can come toward the floor, so you're combining stretches. Try to keep the right hip the same height as the left. Whatever your stretch looks like right now, hold it for 3, for 2, and then slowly for those who came down, bring yourself back up and switching sides. Shift the weight toward the right leg, move the hips out a little bit if you feel a little bit of numbing or funky sensations before you come into your stretch. Now we're doing the same thing, bending at the left knee. Have an intention to reach that left kneecap down and then pulling that left heel toward the glute. Tuck the tailbone, slight squeeze through the lower glute line, and then lengthen out through the spine. So you're trying to maintain a healthy curve. Just a couple more breaths here. If you like, you could stay here. Or if you did before, you're hinging from the crease of the hips and then trying to take the right fingertips. Maybe there's a block or a chair, or right down to the mat if it's there. Try to keep the right leg a little bit more straight without hyperextension or locking it out. And continue to anchor the left heel toward the glute. Hips are level here, and you've got 3 counts. You're here for 2. Good, take one more quality breath before you slowly bring yourself up and out, releasing the left foot down, palms to your lower back. Last time, lean the upper body back, press the hips forward, shake out the head, and then bring yourself back into a standing position. Your feet can either be at hips width or wider. If you want to challenge yourself, you could take the big toes together to touch. And we're just going to come down into a nice baseline squat. Interlace the fingers, or I should say hold onto the opposite sides of the arms. So holding on to the side biceps. And just breathing into the back of the body here. If you feel like you're losing a lot of balance, then you could always at time to time reach those palms down toward the mat and then just try again. Maybe even widen your stance. It will usually be a little bit easier here to try to gain some more balance and control. You could always take a block underneath your hips as well if you need it. Okay, 3 more breaths. Really trying to lengthen out the lower back. Slower pace practice today, but we're still focusing on the function, foundation, and building blocks that strengthen further practices and ensures your body stays safe. Okay, you're just gonna plop down onto the mat in the middle, and you're gonna slowly come into an Navasana boat pose. Lifting up the hips a couple of times, finding your sit bones, and you can either keep both toes planted on the ground, or you can lift up each leg. When you're comfortable, maybe even allow both legs to stay lifted. Shins are parallel to the ceiling. You have energy, let's flex through your feet. Only if it's there, reaching the arms out to the side. So feel free for those who have energy, you could come into a low boat right now, high boat, low boat, high boat, alternating between the two if you got that energy. Otherwise, staying static is more than enough. Every day is going to be different. Try to maintain a nice tall posture here, taking one more breath. Cross up the ankles, sit up, shoulders up. Out of the mouth. Second set. Shake out the head a little bit from side to side and bring yourself back, leaning your body onto those sit bones, flexing your feet, bringing those shins up. Maybe one arm can come off, maybe the other. Or you could keep those palms just at the back of the thighs. Taking a couple more breaths, try to work on correcting your posture so the collarbone stays smiling. You're not concaving. Okay, taking one more breath. Again, cross at the ankle, sit up, shoulders up. Out of the mouth, you grab a little bit of water again, or coffee, whatever it is that you're drinking, and then slowly start to lower down onto the mat. So, two options. For those of you that don't have a block, I want you to bring the soles of the feet together and just allow the knees to open out to the sides. We're just going to hold here for about a minute to a minute and a half. For those of you with a block, however, take the block level 1 or level 2 height underneath the buttocks, okay, not your back. You're not touching the curvature of your spine. And you could either do the same thing in that butterfly or extend the legs toward the top of the mat. So once again, the block is just at the bottom of the tailbone, supporting the weight of the buttocks, the glutes. It is not touching the curvature of your back, okay? And then from there, whichever position you're in, you're just going to cactus out the elbows, close the eyes, and you're here for a minute to a minute and a half. So once again, more of a meditative experience here, where you're just focusing on the extension and constriction of your breath. The more still that you can be in a posture like this, the better for the different muscles and fascial planes of the body. So we're not doing any kind of intensive movement. You're just being very still and mindful in holding stillness. Almost there, just about 3 more breaths. For those of you with a block underneath the hips, take the palms to the side of the glutes, bend one knee at a time, tucking the tailbone, engage your core, lift the hips, and then slowly move the block to the side. For those in that posture 1, bring the knees together, and then everybody hug the knees into the chest. Taking a few rocks here, easy base from side to side. Inhale the forehead up to the knee once or a couple of times if it feels good. Then exhaling the head back down to the mat. Opening up the knees, coming into a happy baby. Continue to rock from side to side. Continue to breathe, full body breath if you can, so you're also including the belly expansion, not just the chest. And then extending both legs up toward the ceiling. Now you could either stay here or take the thumbs, palms underneath the glutes just a little bit. And as many times as you would like to do today, you're going to lower down with control the legs together toward the mat. Hover them and then slowly bring them back up. Just finding a little bit of core activation here before we surrender our body into final Shavasana. This helps to ensure that body stays in alignment as well, and a really good way to tie the practice together. So reconnecting to that core. You could go fast, you could go slow, you could bend the knees, cut the range of motion if you need an option. If you want to challenge, arms are reaching up toward the ceiling as you're doing this. Let's take about 1 to 2 more of these leg lifts. And if you need it, you can hug the knees back into the chest. You could finish and conclude with a nice fast or slow spinal twist, self-guided, and then releasing into your final Shavasana. So we're in final Shavasana for about 3 minutes today. If you do have time, feel free to stay a little bit longer, but I will bring you back in about 3 minutes. So feel free to start to get comfortable, put your socks back on or a sweater if you feel like it's getting a little bit cool now. And then once you release your body, closing the eyes, let's go through that body scan, crown of the head, right down to the tips of the toes. Tips of the toes back up to the crown of the head. Do your best now to relax the muscles that are surrounding the bone. Letting go of any kind of engagement or alignment change through the bone itself. And allow your body to become so relaxed, so heavy, that you get into this state of duality that it actually starts to get lighter as you let your body surrender down onto your mat. Slight part to the lips and soften the muscles of your face. I will now bring you back in a few minutes. And only when you're ready, if you feel time to bring awareness back into your body, deepen your breath. Otherwise, stay resting here for as long as you need, even past the live stream. For those now wiggling the fingers and the toes, circle out the ankles and the wrists. Stretching the arms above the head to try to find that full body yawn. Before rolling onto the right side of the mat for a couple of breaths. Now, the longer the practice, the longer the Shavasana. However, depending on how your body is feeling, once again, you could even stay resting on the side of your body until you're ready to push yourself up to a seated. And we're just going to close with palms to prayer, thumb pressing against the heart, gently bowing down the head. Taking a moment to take a few breaths of gratitude toward yourself for stepping on your mat, for showing up, and for doing sometimes the hard work of inner work. Really bridging that balance of realities between the external and the internal. Taking 3 more breaths. if you're in your seated, shoulders up to the earlobes, inhale. Out of the mouth. Amazing work. Namaste. So everybody, you have a good, I think it's 2 to 3 weeks before the next live stream dates. Once again, for those that tuned in a little bit later, the next 6-week live streams are going to start May 11th. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, both at noon. Tuesdays is our primary emotion set meditation for 20 minutes. And then Thursdays is going to be 30 minutes focused on yoga for the nervous system. So thanks for tuning in. Feel free to go back to the videos, rewatch them. You've got a good 2 to 3 weeks. Enjoy the sunshine wherever you are.